All right, folks, here we are. We are lucky enough to be able to cut test this Holt Morpheus. What a treat, man. I'm really looking forward to this. This was sent to me by a friend to check out. And I was about to send it back to him, and I realized that he had said that I could cut test it. So I quickly took it back out of the box I had taped it up in, and got to film this video before I took it to the post office. So super cool. The blade steel here is Magna Cut. It does not give the HRC on the card. This is my first time interacting with the Solinco card, which is really cool. I didn't even know what that was before today. I thought it was just a fancy word for like a certificate of authenticity, which it pretty much is, but it's digital. It's a card like a credit card. You hold it up to your phone, and it just automatically takes you to a link where it gives you all the info for that specific knife. Really cool. So I did that. Took me to the thing. Said Crucible Magna Cut, but didn't give me the HRC. So factory edge is pretty nice and sticky. I just gave it a quick strop just to make sure that we were, sharp as we could be before we start here. I don't have any double thickness cardboard, but this stuff I'm cutting right now is actually like pretty hard to cut. It's like denser than typical cardboard. I'd say it's almost about as hard to cut through as the double stuff. So that's what we're going to use today. And this knife's cutting through it pretty well. Definitely not having any issues. It feels on the, I wouldn't say on the thick side, but I also wouldn't say it's a super slicer either. We have fairly average measurement behind the edge, somewhere around I think 16 thousandths, maybe a little thinner, which is definitely not bad at all, but it could be thinner. The blade stock as well is pretty average. Nice blade shape here. Utility cuts should be pretty easy without having to raise up to the tip too far. And we have a little belly that's going to help us when we get to cutting the rope and the leather glove and all that stuff. So you can see I'm not raising too far at all, really, to get to the tip for these utility cuts. So that's great. Pretty versatile blade shape, it seems like. I'm also interested to see how this near mirror polish on the blade holds up, through all this testing. Interested to see if it'll get some little micro scratches or nothing. I just don't know. We'll find out. Let's roll up this old leather glove, do some cutting on it. It's doing all right. It feels a little thick and not quite sharp enough to like get through this with one nice easy chop. Kind of one or two sawing motions were needed, but not bad at all. Cut cleanly. Let's move on to the Cecil rope. Here's where the belly is going to come in handy. Kind of start up toward the tip and then rock back on the belly, and the Cecil rope is just popping. Actually did pretty good on this one. No issue whatsoever getting through this stuff. What's next? Rubber tubing. This is probably the smoothest knife I've ever felt, period. I've had knives that drop shut this nicely, but they don't feel as smooth when they're doing it. It's hard to explain. Even the most drop shut knife can not be smooth. What I mean is, if take like the Kaiser Towser S, for example, or any of the Tausers. Those are very drop shut knives. They're on multi-row bearings and they drop shut very nicely. But they're not smooth because you could just feel it. You can even hear it sometimes too. The bearings kind of rolling around in there. With this knife, it's just glass. You don't hear anything. It's completely silent. It's completely false shut, but also tight feeling. Here we are cutting the 2-inch strap, and it's doing okay. It got about halfway through on both cuts. Don't see any scratches whatsoever so far. Very, very nice. Very reflective. Very nice. Very cool. Unbelievably snappy detent on this knife as well. Let's see how our edges held up. Yeah, we're having a little trouble here. Yeah, I would say, well, that time I got it. If you get the right angle and you go the right speed, you can cut paper, but I would say that probably wasn't cutting paper. Let's strap it up and see how we can get the edge back here. And honestly, that's not too surprising for MagnaCut. I've only tested maybe 1 or 2 knives in MagnaCut that were still cutting paper really well at the end of the test, and those were blades that were hardened to like 64-ish HRC. MagnaCut's strongest attribute is not edge retention, it's stainlessness. So it's not a super edge holding steel. Strapping back seemed to do very well. Strapped back quickly. Feel like we're pretty much just as sharp as we were before. Now we do need to do the edge killer. So this is the edge killer. It's killed every edge that I've tried cutting it with so far. I start with a nice freshly stropped edge, and then cut it, and then cut the paper afterward. And every single time, it completely takes away the edge. It is not cutting paper anymore. Actually, you know what? There might have been one knife that made it. I can't remember, but it's definitely an edge killer. Let's see what it did to this MagnaCut. Definitely some issues. Yep, it messed it up bad. So let's drop it back up again. That might change though, because we are going to be testing my new Sage 5 in Maximet pretty soon here. If any knife is going to beat the edge killer, it would be that. It would be Maximet from Spyderco. So we will see. This knife is also using a nub detent, very similar to Brian Nadeau's nub detent that he uses on his knives. Another reason why it's just, the action is just really nice, very snappy. No double clutch because there's no detent ball. So we're strapped back, nice and sharp again. There we go. Yeah. Overall, it wasn't an incredible performer. Pretty average, I would say, for an EDC knife. It would definitely work for your daily tasks, absolutely, and do fairly well at them. But it wasn't a super slicer. It wasn't a super utility cutter. It didn't do amazing at any one thing. It did pretty good at all things. Spine whack test is passed. This is an amazing knife. The fit and finish is incredible. The action's incredible. Detent's incredible. The milling on the handle is incredible. The near mirror polish on the blade is incredible. It's a very, very, very nice knife. Extremely nice. Again, it is without doubt, the smoothest, snappiest knife. Well, I'll say smoothest for sure. And it's in the top 5 snappiest, but it is 100% the smoothest knife I've ever felt, period. If you've ever, or if you are ever going to be at a blade show, make the Holt table a priority. You need to try these. You need to try one. I mean, you just have to. It's, I'll let you know if I ever come across anything smoother, but, I hear from a lot of people that they're just the top in smoothness. So, there you go. That was great, man. Hope you enjoyed. Please like the video before you leave, and I'll see you soon.